What I am about to tell you sounds crazy, but you have to listen to me. Your very lives depend on it. This is not the end. You see, this isn't the first time. Now, we've had this conversation. What day is it?
Judgment Day. You just came in with the fresh recruits.
What is reality? What is reality? What is reality? What is truth? What is illusion? What are lies? We all perceive reality a little bit different from one another, but there are commonalities which we agree to call the truth. I claim to know nothing, but this is what they told me.
Hey everybody, this is Jonathan from Jersey here on Perceptions Talk Radio. Today is November 28th, 2023, and we have a very, very, very special guest, Mr. David Weiss. We've been trying to get together for a long time. David, what should I call you? What do people know you as?
Flat Earth Dave, I guess.
All right, there you go. That's it. I didn't want to say because I've never been a proponent of the flat Earth. I always play that. I try to walk the line, kind of try to make diplomacy and peace on both sides of the globe.
What kind of line? A straight line, a level line, or a curved line?
That's exactly it. Now, can you really walk a straight line? You know, it's kind of like when the cops like put one foot in front of the other and walk a straight line. I couldn't do that if I was sober.
Yeah.
No, it's
there's a great TikTok out there. A guy telling the cop, goes, you know, the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and while it's spinning, it's orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, speeding up and slowing down. And while that's going on, it's chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour, and the entire system's moving sideways at 2.2 million miles an hour. And that, officer, is why I could not walk a straight line.
I think I saw that about a week ago.
Great video. It's a great video. It's been around for years, but it's funny.
So how you been, man? It's been forever. Or as the kids say, a hot minute.
I'm doing great. Having a good time getting ready for my Mexico excursion, and going to be doing podcasts from Mexico for the winter.
Oh, get out. That's brilliant.
Did last year. It's actually a great way to save money.
Okay.
Pick up and go to Mexico for the winter.
Well, when are you coming back? Because I want to do that thing with you in New York if you're still game to go out and video record you, man on the street kind of thing.
Oh, we're gonna actually do that.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Back in March.
Okay, that's
right,
perfect.
We'll talk about it then.
There's a million things I want to ask you, and you know what, Angel? I don't know if he sent you that email. He had a ton of questions, and I didn't know what to make of it. That was his game.
Is he coming on? I mean, I think you could use Zoom without. I don't even think you need the software, do you?
I don't know. He tried linking to it twice, so. When I hung up with him, that was like 15 minutes ago. He was at 8%. So I'm sure he's almost got it worked out. He should be in here any second. So worst case scenario. Well, let me ask you this first. All right. So you go back a long ways. I just want to talk about the present moment. You went to the conference, right? This year out in Vegas. How did that go? I heard there was only one incident, but
it wasn't even what do you mean one incident with the troll guy?
Yeah. What was that about?
So that's a guy, Tyler Oliveira, and he has like 4-point-something million subs.
Oh, wow.
I think lots of them might be purchased, but he actually is a decent reporter, and he goes around. He's got a pair of balls on him. He'll just go up to anybody, and he doesn't care. You know, like when that we lost that jet fighter allegedly, like down south somewhere. He went there, went to the barricades, and like he got into it with the guards there that wouldn't let him pass. He's like, "Wait, I'm trying to win the money. You got to let you know." And he gets in people's faces. But he called me and said, hey, we're doing some conspiracies. We heard about Flat Earth. We don't know anything about it. Can we come interview you? And I'm like, you know, a little like, okay, what's the deal? And I said, here's the deal. I said, if you come, I said, you can't say that we're floating on a disc. You can't, a couple things. And I said, as long as you tell people, I don't care how you edit it, that if they want more information, they have to go to flatearthdave.com. That I'm fine, because every hit piece, they never mention any real Flat Earth channels. Here comes Angel. And they've never mentioned any channels. So he agreed to that. He came, he filmed me for like 5 hours in my home, and we went over everything. And I started with the basics. Water lays flat, needs containment, high pressure next to low pressure, right? And after we got through all of that and his mind was blown, then we started talking about other things. Hey, what's beyond the ice wall? We don't know, but we could check. And what's above us? Well, we don't know, but we could speculate. And so it went really well. And then he said, well, I'm going to go to the conference too, and then I'm going to put the video together. He came to the conference as a flat earther. Now, truthfully, gun to his head, and like if he had to tell the truth, he would say, yeah, I think the earth is flat. But he decided to mix it up. And while he was there, he got a quick T-shirt made across the street at the Walmart that said, I'm a globe earther or whatever. I couldn't even see what it said because it was so horribly made. And he tried to just stir it up. And
playing like the devil's advocate or something.
Yeah. But here's the thing. When he posted his video, right to the top of, when you search Flat Earth, it was number 2 all day long for almost 24 hours. Now, that's huge.
Right.
And he got the bulk of his views right then. But then they realized, and because he took that clip of him going, I was a flat earther, but now I'm not. And they put that at the beginning. He did it actually geniusly perfect, not quite perfect, to where the algorithm thought it was an anti-flat earth video. But there was too much real information in there. Flight routes were in there. Water needing containment was in there. Air pressure was in there. And the algorithm quickly, after about 24 hours, figured out, wait a minute, this is waking up people. And they pushed it right out. You couldn't even find it unless you literally went to his channel and found it. So that was his lowest viewed video. Go ahead.
Tell me about that for a minute, because like I'm not familiar with all the parameters of how this operates. I mean, Mark Sargent's been at it for a while. You've been at it for a while, so they know your names. You're kind of infamous as far as they're concerned in terms of censorship and whatnot. So you're saying there's specific words that will get you knocked off in YouTube immediately?
Well, no, the AI, the algorithm knows if you're promoting Flat Earth in a positive way, giving out good information, you just get pushed right out. You Google Flat Earth, my name, Flat Earth proofs, whatever you want, you're going to get none of my videos, none of Jaren's videos, none of Taboo Conspiracies videos, none of all of the real stuff. You're just going to get, Psyop Man Dan and, not a phony Professor Dave and all of these other disgusting demon-possessed scumbags that are out there, all believing in the moon landing, all believing in the vaccine, all believing, they all push the same narrative and trying to knock down flat earth, but they can't. And so because his was waking up so many people, they literally pushed it out. So then he took clips of that and started making a couple of I went over to conspiracy, a cult leader, David Weiss's house, right? And he's literally fighting to get the algorithm to push him back up to the top because he was making $100,000 a month sometimes,
really,
on advertising, and views. So I don't blame the guy for what he did. I'd take 10 more videos like that if he'd be willing to make them, but he won't because he's getting Angel seems to be having a little trouble here. He's
I see the 3 or 4 of them up top.
Yeah.
I don't know how this works.
I know he keeps logging in different windows. Angel, you got to close all those other windows.
Yeah, close those out, Angel. Try again.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick the other ones out, or he can.
Oh wait, here it is, connecting to audio. I see him connecting on.
Yep, here he comes. He's getting rid of the other ones. He's hearing us. So finishing that is the Tyler Oliveira video and all of the follow-up videos and all of the mirror videos is only helping Flat Earth. I spent 8 hours the first day responding to his fans going, tell me more. Where can I go? And I'm just like, here, go here, go here. I just keep pointing them. And they're all becoming flat earthers. So he woke up more flat earthers than many flat earthers have.
What? So he's now like the Joey Buttafuoco of the flat earth realm. Remember when that guy?
He's not going to touch flat earth again because he knows when he says flat earth, his views go down. His views go down. It hurts all his other videos that are up. It'll knock down his channel. Yeah, because his videos are pushed right to the top of the algorithm because of whatever. But now the algorithm knows that he put out a pro flat Earth video. It may not look pro at first, but you could watch it and laugh at flat Earth, but you go, wait a minute, those southern flight routes are interesting. Wait, water needing containment. Wait, high pressure next to low pressure, and it got enough positive information out there that would light a bunch of fires. And I even did one interview. One of the guys that came from his channel, I interviewed him. Young kid, smart, like a kind of kid's a little off a little bit, but this kid is smart. I mean, this kid's got a future. And Tyler took the video interview that I did, and he tried to like make a really anti-flat Earth video about it. So I can't blame the guy for what he did, and he's only helping flat Earth. So as Mark Sargent says, there's only publicity is good publicity. Any publicity is good publicity. I agree with that. Yeah. I prefer positive publicity over negative publicity, but he's right. It's only just waking up people. Like the interview I did with the alleged interview or whatever, the disaster. I was promised a nice moderated debate with phony fake Professor Dave, and it just turned into a shit show with his antics at the beginning. But I got tons, and I still to this very day. Like, hey, I'm just reaching out. Flat Earth is really stupid, but why did Professor Dave act like that? Why did he behave like a child? And I'm like, well, thanks for emailing me. Here, watch these videos, and I'll send them 3 videos that they would never see.
Right.
And then they emailed me back a couple of days later. Holy crap, this is real, because they would never have looked at it before. So even that nightmare of a video is waking up people to this very day. So. Here we go. We're here. Last thing, and I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
As Mark Sargent talks about the hive mind, is he the one that always mentions the hive mind? The hive mind is when you have so many people looking at something, the answer always gets exposed. And like the hive mind with a bowl of jelly beans, a big fish bowl of jelly beans. If you take everyone guesses and you take the mean answer, it's within 1 or 2 jelly beans.
That's a good point.
All the time. But that's not even a great example. If someone has a alleged fact or something a deception, enough people see it, they're going to be like, "Oh, look at that! There's duct tape on there. Oh, look at that! That doesn't make that can't." Somebody will find it. So there is enough people in flat Earth now, enough people seeing it that it would have been exposed if it was nonsense. And there is no nonsense. And I still have my 3 Bitcoins.
Well, hey, Angel, there you are. Do I hear Angel's voice?
Yeah, we hear his voice.
All right.
Maybe you can turn on this video.
Do you want video? No, you don't want video.
Yeah, if you can do it, if you can handle the bandwidth. Yeah, we're on video.
Yeah,
I never do video. You know that. I'm doing this only special for David.
All right.
Well, I told you not to do video, and then I come on, and here you are on video. So here we go.
Here we go.
I got some glary lights here, but we're gonna have to deal with it.
I have the theory of the idea is that as we gain tools, it changes our identity, and that was the network effect in 2016 when there are enough people connected that the conversation could spread.
Okay,
I don't know.
I agree. There's good.
Well, let me just say one point to what you just said, because I want to say something on what David said prior to that with the hive mind. Basically, what I'm hearing then is similar to like the way social mores are accepted in society after a time. It's more than just the 100th monkey theory. It's this not a pinpoint agreement on things, but there's a certain gray area, so to speak. But there's something injected into it where enough people can agree upon it, right? There's a certain element of truth there that's so strong. And it makes me wonder sometimes that when they do run psyops, if they don't run a lot of people out there to, basically build that momentum to steer it in a different direction, then you have somebody like David, who's dedicated to this and pulls it right back out to, no, we're just going to focus on this, this, and this. Did they come after you at all? I mean, are you a hard target for them?
Who's the opposition? I mean, so here's my view of the world, and whether you believe it or not, I don't care, because I pretty much know it to be the case. We live in a spiritual world. This is a world of different levels of vibration, and if you don't lower yourself down to their stupid low vibration, they can't touch you. And so I haven't had any issues other than the demon possessed anti-flat earthers that try to come after me, but they can't. Every time they make a video about me, I make a better video. That they inspire me to make a better video that literally wakes up more and more people. Every hit piece they do on me wakes up more and more people. If you look on my friend finder, Have you looked at it yet?
Yes.
This is the
Yes.
East Coast. This is the East Coast of the United States. You can't even see it. Can't even see it. It's buried. It's buried.
Hmm.
So the amount of flat earthers that we have now is insane. If we look at the UK, here's the UK. It's
Wow.
insane.
Wow.
Yeah, that
Everyone,
dark
every one of
spot.
those green dots.
Everyone
Wait,
knows, but the dark spot is just dots on tops and dots on top of dots.
Okay, so it's
Well, at the same
saturated.
time, that's
Yeah,
a dense population there. Say if you look at
yeah.
Montana, New Mexico, uh, some of these
Here,
less dense places. What do you got?
look at that.
Wow.
That's the United States.
Ironically, though,
Now, if
we're
I
the
zoom out a little bit, you'll see there is some less dense areas, but they're everywhere. And by the way, these dots I think represent far less than 1% of the flat earthers out there.
by the way,
I meet
though,
people all the time that
Oh
never
no,
heard of me that are flat earthers.
don't you think it's ironic though, like in America, just going by that, okay, by the continent of America, that where there's the least amount of people where it's the most flat? That was a trick question.
I don't know if I agree with that. Florida is one of the flattest states, and there's plenty of people there.
I
Except
meant
in the middle,
the
of
whole
course.
Earth is flat. That's what I
Yeah,
meant. I was
the
making
whole
a
Earth
joke.
is
well,
the Earth is not flat. It's a topographical plane with hills and valleys. It is level. It is
Well,
horizontal,
okay,
and
that's
the
true.
and the physics of water show us that it's level. And water, when it's still at rest, large bodies of water, anything bigger than a cup of water, will be described. The surface will be flat for
All right,
sure.
Angel, I know you got a million questions. I just have to ask one more, and I'm not going to kid around or anything. I want this to be a great conversation tonight. About 2 a.m. in the middle of the night, random night of the week, does Neil deGrasse Tyson ever call you up, a little, slurred speech, and says, you're a real pain in my ass, and you can hear the whiskey glass in the background with the ice cubes? Does he
I
have you
go back.
in your black book? His
I
black
go
book?
back and forth with people like Neil deGrasse Tyson. As far as, does he know that he's lying? Is he lying on purpose, or is he just literally a demon mind controlled puppet? And I lean more towards the latter all the time. I don't think that I think he's really, really stupid, and he's just being fed by demons. And that makes me sound like a David White believes in demons. There's all sorts of demons in this world, and he is just propagating his nonsense. I don't have time to speak with flat earthers, but he has time to make straw man video after straw man video after straw man video for years on end. But he will
Well,
not ever talk to us.
I'm gonna give him a little credit and say that every time he has a crisis of conscience, right? He looks at your video and he knows he wants to like give in, but then he looks at his bank statement and how much his last paycheck was, and he sees this guy's. He looks at both and he's like,
I say these guys are paid. They're paid or possessed. There's no difference, right?
right. They serve.
And
Yeah, you can't serve two gods.
yeah, it's about control. If you play on their system, you have to abide by their rules. If you live on their fake globe, you've sold yourself, and you have to play with their rules. Flat earthers are unplugging from this, and they're learning that, hey, I don't need to pay 40% of my money or 2% of my money to them every year. And there's ways around that are so simple. So simple. Anybody listening, if you pay more than $5,000, have that removed, let alone pay at the end of the year, have it removed from your pay, you need to email me. You need to email me, and then I'll help you out.
If I made 5,000 a year, I'd be happy. But
Yeah.
I'll definitely email you either way.
No. Like if you don't make a ton of money and you get it all, you get it all back because you don't make a ton of money, then please don't email me. But if you are making a healthy amount of money and don't have the deductions to claim 100% of it, email me.
There you go. I wasn't expecting that tonight.
There you go.
Interesting.
All right, listen, Angel, I'm going to shut up because I know you've been so excited that David was coming on, and here it is, reality, and you had a million questions. So please, sir, you have the floor.
Well, since we're talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson, I want to give a breakdown on him because I haven't seen anyone spot this. Neil deGrasse Tyson, there's this position that he has was invented for him. There was no one, he stepped in after so-and-so retired. What he has is a formula for gaining empathy. He needs a certain amount of time for his setup, or he can't get the empathy portion that builds the rest of whatever package message he wants. if we have the same understanding of how to get empathy with the person we're talking to, we have more power than Neil deGrasse Tyson because we have facts. He has empathy.
Okay.
Bullet him. All right.
I just see him like I can't even watch his stuff. When I watch his stuff, I don't know whether to laugh or cry because it's just so pathetic. The stuff that he says without he's just a guy telling stories that have zero evidence, zero proof. And if you actually put your God-given common sense to what he's saying, you can realize that it's physically impossible. The stuff that he says, it's so stupid. The earth, the world bulges. The oceans bulge 14 miles high at the equator. This is what Neil deGrasse Tyson
says. The football.
Yeah. But this is worse. Listen to this though. Effect. The oceans bulge 14 miles high, but from space you can't see it because 14 miles high. You can't even notice that from space because it's so little. But 14 miles high, let's think about that. I'm in Connecticut and I want to fly to Brazil. My plane is flying 5 miles high, maybe 7 miles high. I got to double, triple my height just to skim over that bulge. That's problem number one.
Okay. Here's a
and the other problem isn't Africa on the equator, part of Africa? Wouldn't 14-mile high bulge cover Africa? 14-mile high bulge of water? Wouldn't every piece of land on the equator be underwater? Unless its level was 14 miles high.
Well,
people don't think when they hear these things. They're like, oh, that's really cool. I mean, I did it. I used to believe that because I never really thought about it. We're only taught to memorize what comes in our textbooks and what people that are in paid positions that are alleged scientists tell us. Hey, they must have done a science. They're smarter than me. I can't do it. He's got a lab coat on and he's wearing a bow tie. I got to believe that shit.
By the way, I do have one comment. There's a video of you about, I think it's 1 minute and 30 seconds long. I just put it up on my Facebook today to tell people you were going to be on tonight. And you had these two guys wearing NASA shirts, and you show the camera like it looks like a satellite image of the Earth.
It looks like the shot of the Earth, and it's got the little, and it was just a solar panel, and it was looking up at the sky from our front yard. It wasn't mine. That was actually a guy named Pete Brain made that, and I just took it and used it.
It was like their faces were like, yeah. It was so funny. And then you show the friggin' frying.
It's the guy's name was Joey and Cheeks.
Cracks me up.
Yeah. Joe, anybody wants to find that video, the short clip or the long one, if you have my app, just go to the search videos, the new function, and just type in Cheeks. Because I think it's Joey and Cheeks, and then those two videos will come right up. So
I'm gonna see if I can put it in the chat real quick for everybody so I'm cracking up.
It's a good one. Where are we broadcasting?
By the way, we're on freeworld.fm for any of the listeners who want to tune in. And there's also a chat room there. So we can field questions there at the same time. I should have said that earlier on.
I love questions. It's probably all flat earthers there. Yeah, so it's Joey and Cheeks. I just searched Cheeks in the search on the app, and there come the 3 videos on them.
That was hilarious.
That chart one went viral.
And the circles what were those circles made out of? You said which one? They thought it was globes, and it was like I don't know if they were made out of paper or what, had texture. You flip the one over, it was half of a ball.
Those were the moon. That's from Karen B's channel.
Okay,
she's basically showing you unless you can touch it, know the distance, or know the size, you don't know anything. Because you can show somebody a picture of a baseball in a black background, like, wow, that's a baseball. It's the size of my fist. But then you find out that it's actually a beach ball that looks like a baseball and it's farther away. So you don't know until you can either know the distance or know the size. If you don't know either, you don't know anything.
I should have grabbed this one video to have for you tonight. I'll see if I can find it during the week. This woman's on the beach. She steps in the frame of the camera. Now, again, I'm a photographer. I'm looked through a million perspectives, right? In different lens sizes and stuff. As she's near this camera, she steps in. There was no distorted perspective, okay? So she must have been stepping in, I'm guessing 24 millimeter. I don't know. But she was in good proportion. She starts walking towards this tree trunk on the beach that was down on the beach. And it looked like, to scale, she was maybe able to climb and walk on the tree trunk like that. Okay. As she starts walking back on the beach, this friggin' thing turns out to be like 25 feet above her head. And it was that much, they had it on a high f-stop, so everything was clear through the whole range. But it was just
nice.
it just proves to you right there that to scale, hey, it's the cleaning guy, what's up? That you don't really know, like you said, without those parameters, without what you're looking at, you can trick so many people, and our own eyes trick us all the time.
Right. When you see the sun, you see you got a cloud deck, and then there's clear sky under the clouds, and then you see the sun setting below the clouds. That sun is above the clouds, but you see it below the clouds. It's the weirdest thing. So here's an example that what you can envision. So you have a highway bridge, or there's a bridge going over a road. It's like you're standing on the lower road. There's a bridge hitting it at a right angle, and you're underneath the bridge. Okay, you're actually right next to the bridge, and you look directly straight up, and there's the sun in the sky above your head. It's noon. It's directly above your head. Now that sun starts moving away to your left towards the bridge, and as soon as it goes past the top of the bridge, you kind of can't see it anymore because it's going beyond the bridge. And then it goes farther and farther away due to perspective, just like all the light posts on the road get lower and lower and lower. It looks like it's lower and lower, and then all of a sudden you can see it underneath the bridge. Now you know that it's still high in the sky, just far away, but you see it under the bridge. Is the sun in the sky lower than that bridge? Of course not. It's just down, it's just farther away. You can look under that bridge and look at a 10-story building, maybe a quarter of a mile, a half a mile, 2 miles down the road, and you can see plenty of space above that building before you get to the top of the bridge. You can see that building below the bridge. Is that building lower than the bridge? Of course not. It's 10 stories high, and it's only a quarter of a mile down the road, but you see it below the bridge. That people don't understand how perspective works. Perspective explains the trick of the globe. Surveyors, when they're doing their surveying, when you look across the atmosphere, when you look up, you're looking through a thin layer of atmosphere. But when you look parallel with the land, you're looking through all atmosphere. As far as you can see, it's the densest atmosphere. And that atmosphere has moisture in it. And that atmosphere actually pushes things down. Get a glass of water, draw a line on the wall, and then put that glass of water in front of the line. That line will drop because of the change of medium. Well, air is the same thing. It's a fluid. It's just thinner. And it will drop things. Guess how surveyors account for that drop? From that atmospheric refractive drop. You know how they account for it?
Never thought of it, but it sounds like the inverse of a mirage, but go ahead.
Yeah, they don't. They ignore it, and they call it Earth curve.
Not parallax, right? Okay.
Earth curve. No, they call it Earth curve. They go, oh, that's lower because of Earth curve. But they ignore the fact that the density of the medium that they're looking through pushes things down, provably so. They ignore it. They call it Earth curve. But guess what? When they're doing their measurements, things constantly change. That the amount of up and down changes because of the atmospheric conditions. So you know what they do? They say, well, over X distance, there should be, with the Earth curve, this amount of drop. And they get a reading that's just way out of whack. You know what they do with that reading? They throw it out. They get another one that's within the range. They go, let's hold that one. They get another one within the range. They hold it. Get another one out of the range. Get rid of that. And they just take all the ones that go in their pre-assumed range. And then they take the mean of that and they go, that's the Earth curve.
And by the way, I said parallax, and I just looked it up to make sure I knew what the hell I was talking about. Parallax is an apparent shift in the position of an object due to the shift in the position of the observer's camera. For example, aerial surveying. So we experience this phenomenon when a moving body is shift in position when compared to a static object, considering the camera as eye. And you know what you reminded me of as you're talking about this? Somebody else had a video up, and I wish I knew where it was. I wish I'd saved it. You're looking at a factory or something across the water, but this road that's leading up to it through this town, you see this object through the trees at the end of the block, okay? And the factory
I actually have it.
You know what I'm talking about.
It looks gigantic, and as they get closer, it gets smaller. I actually have that exact same thing at my town beach. There's this long road that cuts through the center of our, it's kind of like an island beach. And 5 miles or so in the distance is Stanford Hospital. and it looks
I know,
gigantic.
right? Yeah,
It just looks,
yeah.
and then as you drive down, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It's so small that you almost can't see it when you get up. And I actually filmed it. It's on my channel, DITRH. It's I think it says it's like one of the most recent videos, and it's got like a bar graph on it. It says which one is bigger or something like that. But on my channel, DITRH stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Check it out. And the trolls around there, or even some some people that are flat earthers are like, oh, that's just a camera trick where you're zooming out as you're moving forward. And you know what? If I did zoom out as I move forward, it would make that same effect. But here's the thing: anyone that's in my town could go there. It's more impressive with your own naked eyes than a camera. It's like when you take a picture of the moon. Oh, look at that giant moon! You take a picture.
Yeah.
It's tiny. It's
That
tiny.
was like tonight. I tried. Yeah.
When you just without filming, when you just look at it, wow, that's huge. And then you get to the other end, you're like, where the hell did it go? It's better than the video that you saw. It's more, it's incredible how much it happens, but with the naked eye, it's even worse.
You know where I saw that? When I was over in Brussels for business in 2005. If you're in the center of Brussels, center city, you look up the one avenue and it's center street or whatever it is. It goes up maybe 3-4 miles in the distance. But you can't judge it by the naked eye. There's no markers that you can figure out how. And at the top of that hill, because it is an incline, is this big church, and it looks like a mosque the way it's designed. But it looks like it's floating in heaven when you see the mirage in the summertime, because all that disappears from the light fraction and all that refraction. And then when you get up on it, and it's still pretty big. But of course it starts to shrink as you're driving towards it. So
yeah, it's incredible. Let me show you.
Is Angel still with us, by the way? Angel, say something.
Hi.
I think he might be. Oh, there he is.
Okay.
So check this out. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So that right there, that entire thing is Stanford Hospital. That entire big block in front of the bike rider. You see it?
Oh wait, it says host disabled participant screen sharing. Okay, so you're.
Oh no, I'm sharing. I can enable it for you guys. But you see here, I got to go back. Can you see it or no? Am I showing you my screen?
I'm not seeing it.
You're not seeing it?
There it is. Now I see it.
Okay, so here where my mouse is, this is the hospital. You see how big it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so as we're going, I'm not zooming at all. I'm on my one wheel. And it just gets watch until the end. And with your naked eyes, this is worse. Angel, stop requesting control of my screen. All right. So look how small it's getting.
Wow.
You can almost can't see it anymore. It gets even smaller.
Yeah, that's weird.
Isn't that crazy?
You could see it so clear at a distance from way down the
Look how tiny it is now.
You could probably make out the windows and everything from back there.
That's what it feels like, right? It's how our brain interprets things. It's crazy.
So wait, why do people continue to believe their eyes? I mean, the fact that they use photography and trick photography and everything else, and now CGI and AI. Yeah, look at that thing. You could probably tell how many levels it is, how many windows in a row.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If I was seeing this from somebody else, I'd be like, no, you're doing that zoom out trick. You're doing the zoom out trick, because if you're zooming out, moving forward, you can kind of fake it. I don't even think you can. I don't think you can fake it like that.
Now that you're showing me this, I'm thinking you're some kind of flat earth magician.
Dude,
I
can't explain this. You know what? I kind of can explain it, but it makes no sense. It's our brains interpret things. That's why when you look at the moon on the horizon, giant moon, wow, it's huge. Then 5 hours later, 3 hours later, whatever, when it's above your head, it's tiny, but it's actually the same size. Because if you hold your thumb out and say, okay, or your finger, all right, I'm covering the moon. Then later you do the same thing at the same distance, and it covers the moon the same. It covers the moon the same.
Good point. Were you with us on it, Angel? We're talk to us, man.
Yeah, Angel, what's going on?
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about I don't know, whatever you want to talk about. I don't know,
You had,
man.
a list, you had a million questions. He was just going on about this.
All right. Some time ago, you mentioned that even before flat Earth, this your awakening started with maybe something learning about taxes, about money, about. But you started up a conversation with your friend Tim in the lunchroom, and I would really like if you could fill in the rest of the imagery. The lunchroom, how big is it? What were the furniture? What's the lighting? How many people were there when you started
Amazing.
talking about people listening in?
Yeah, so I mean, our office, our cubicles, if you will, were just around the corner from it. The lunchroom wasn't that big. I'd say it probably seats 20 people. It was kind of one big table and then a couple little side tables, and everyone just sits around it and has their lunch in this medium-sized kitchen. It wasn't like a big giant corporation or anything. And we would be talking about stuff, and people would be listening, and and ask stupid questions. And we were talking about the IRS and the Federal Reserve and money. So it went right over some people's heads. But then we'd start talking about other conspiracies, and each day at lunch we'd walk in. They're like, "Oh, Dave and Tim are here. Dave and Tim are here," and they'd start to ask us questions. And then after a while of doing that, literally, I remember the phone call. Tim called me up and goes, "Dave," he goes, "we got to get our message out to more people." And I'm like, okay. He goes, my friend Mike he's a comedian. They're opening up a podcast studio at Stand Up New York Lab. It's called Stand Up New York Labs above on New York Comedy Club. And I go, "What's a podcast?" I didn't know. I was like, I heard the word before. I didn't really know what it was. He goes, "It's a radio show that's recorded." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "It just has to have something funny in it." He goes, "So we'll be the truth seekers," and he'll try to turn everything into a joke. And man, was that a stressful podcast for 3 years. But that's what happened. We went there and we kind of, no pun intended, blew up the studio with episode 1, which we talked about 9/11. And all of the management was literally had their heads in the studio, hands on their hips, in their suits, going, "What the hell just happened?" Because they didn't know anything about 9/11. And we blew up the studio with that, and then it just kind of went on from there. And that podcast went kind of viral.
Was there a live audience there when you're doing your first podcast?
Um, just the people that worked there, but by the time we were done, I didn't even realize it because I was kind of like side to the back where there's seating for maybe 20 people or so. All the management was in there. All of the people, some people that I've never even seen before, they're standing in there like, "What the hell just happened?" And then the argument was, "You can't air this. You can't air this." And they're like, "Yes, we can. We can air this." And they did. And then it kind of just went from there, and it was wild. And we always name each podcast after something that was just said in the podcast. And I had made some comment about, this is my baby or something. I go, like they're questioning my ability. I'm like, I've looked into this so much. I go, "This is my baby." So they named the episode 1 is called 9/11 is Dave's baby. Literally at the end of the show, Mike, the comedian, would go, "We're going to call this blah, blah, blah." And I was like, every time I'm like, good name, good name, good name. So 9/11 is Dave's baby. But recently, Mike, throwing him under the bus here, was up for some sitcom show or something. And he removed all of the episodes of Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole from the internet because he didn't want them being seen. So if anyone knows how to go on the Wayback Machine or something and can find all of those and let's re-upload those, I'm down with that.
That's good work to do that. Yeah, keep an archive of it. You have to keep control of your own stuff.
I know. I just never thought that he would do something. We had to take it down. But you know what? Listen, I'm not judging him for it, judging him a little bit. But it's all right. It's okay. It's what it is.
Did you ever have siblings get into your room to rummage through to take your stuff? This is your YouTubes.
No. My kids are older, and they're not conspiracy analysts at all. They're normies, a little bit liberal, and and they're protected from the boogeyman. Yay!
How many people in your family are pro? Well, if you want to say flat Earth, but are in support of you, regardless.
Well, my partner Paige, she's 100% on board, and it's just the two of us here. And then we have 4 kids between us, and they're at different levels of understanding that there's something wrong with the globe, but they don't want to address it, so they don't talk about it. Many of their friends are becoming flat earthers, so they're all getting pushed. They're all like, whoa, when their friends turn and their friends start showing them, look, I saw your dad. I saw this TikTok, because I'm kind of all over the place now. They're coming around, and I just give them their own time. My brother and sister, I haven't talked to them in 3 years. Um, they're normie libtards. So I really have no reason to talk to them, because what the hell am I going to talk to them about? I can't even talk to them about the weather because the weather's fake.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
It's funny
So,
because my son's 20 and he's in his second year of college, and I'll ask him periodically, like, how do you feel, if daddy does that, daddy, like he's 3, right? How do you feel if I do this or that? And he says, that's fine. And I was like, you're not, I said, I'm concerned about you having a semblance of a normal life. You know what I mean? So he's like, no, he goes, do what you want. He goes, I love you. He goes, I know you research things. I know you're, but I don't try to, stick it in his head that this is the way I want him to still do what he's doing. He's so focused
yeah.
on homework and stuff like that. There's plenty of time for the rest of this, to be part of his lifestyle. But, if he has a certain friend or a girlfriend, all of a sudden he's like, oh, I think my dad knows something about that.
Yeah.
It's tough because you got to, I've always said to Mark too, like, I'm somewhat respectful of other people's viewpoints, whether it's politics, religion, all that. I mean, I feel very much the same way with everything you just said. I mean, I can go into a tirade, but the thing is that I have to accept that on this place that we're living, this realm or whatever, everybody's only at their own level of understanding and progress. It is a spiritual journey to some degree. I'd love to help people to understand, or to at least have critical thinking skills to know what kind of questions they ask. But there comes a point where you have to walk away, because it can be so frustrating when you're dealing with people that are so diametrically opposed, and not because of any logic, just because they want to be stubborn, and they don't even want to entertain it. They don't even want the possibility of capitulating for peace on the subject matter.
Yeah. There's just so many people that want the blue pill. They don't want to know. They're happy with their little lives in their little world. They may enjoy their slave job and love to watch sports and drink on the weekend, and that's their life. That's fine. That's not my life. My life is really trying to understand this realm, share it with others, and and take advantage of what is divinely ours. We all have the same rights to this place. Nobody has rights over us, but the demons that have created the satanic globe model, they're getting us to willingly participate. From birth, they sign our birth certificate. It's traded on the stock exchange, and we play by their rules on their board with their fake money. We need to get off their playboard. We need to not play by their rules. We need to not use their money, and then we take freedom. We don't need to take down the government. We just need to make our own reality. And you want to be a lawyer, you have to learn all the laws. You have to learn all this stuff. Accounting, you have to learn millions and millions of phrases and taxes. But there's really only a couple things, that in nature that you need to understand, and that's natural law. It's really easy, and that's it. And there's nothing else. The world is a very simple place to exist in, peacefully, but people just are caught up in this satanic system, and I truly believe that many of them are possessed by demons.
Do you think it's that, or do you think it's paired with what I think is the worst of the sins, vanity? They're
Well, I
self-serving.
mean, I personally think that these demons come looking for empty vessels, people that have separated themselves from the creator and have opened themselves up to demon possession. We have our soul. Our soul is possessing us. I think we have many souls. We just have a main soul, and that and for lack of a better word, so we have this spirit in us. But then there's these evil spirits, these fallen angels that are trying to find empty vessels, and they find them in politicians and rock stars, movie stars, that make deals to be possessed and have these fame, these skills, rewards, whatever. And it never works out in the end for them. But I think that's what's going on with a lot of these um, evil people out there. The anti-flat earthers, I think that they don't even know what the hell they're doing. I think they're completely possessed.
Well, let me ask you this then. You bring up a good
ahead.
point because I'm thinking of two things. One, Matthew 11:15, right? He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. But um, the government, I guess, who the people that are keeping this a secret, right? The powers that be. What is it that they fear most? Obviously, control and power. But is it
Yeah.
also the spiritual end of it because there's spiritual ramifications once you defined the flat
I,
Earth and the firmament and all of it?
I think the majority of the government out there, they guys, they have no idea what's going on. They've literally sold their souls for their places in the government to do the work of these invisible demons. And I think only the ones at the very, very top know what's going on. I'd say 99% of the people in our government don't know the earth is flat, don't know about demonic possession, or maybe they kind of do because they do their little secret oaths and stuff, and stuff happens for them. They do their spirit cooking and other stuff. They must know something, but they're, as you said earlier, they're too busy looking at their paycheck. Oh, that's nice, right? There's some guys out there that watch politicians' stock trades and make the exact same trade seconds after they do it. They literally have an algorithm that does that, and they're killing it. Right? There was one was the Pelosi's that they would literally trade right after them, and they're doing very well. So it's all interesting. It's all interesting.
You've fashioned your own life, and you've created your own timetable of what your inputs and your outputs and your systems are. What do you think now is your own outputs in the systems that support what you do?
What do you mean? What do you mean my own outputs? Like I've changed my life in such an amazing way. But go ahead, ask again.
Yeah, okay. You have a coffee table book, you have an app, you have these interviews, and you have a regular I don't know how you set up your timetable in your day, but you are on the internet a lot. And this
Yeah,
is
I work more than I've ever worked in my entire life. I work 7 days a week. I work while I'm sleeping. I work all the time, and at the same time, I have more free time than I've ever had. So I'm working, but I'm doing it from different places. Like I'm going to Mexico for 2 months, but I'll be working in Mexico, but I'll be having a great time when I do it. They say, love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life. Because if I had a regular slave job in my spare time, I'd be doing this. But now I get to focus on this. I get to become very good at this because this is what I'm putting all my energy in. And the reason I did this is not for money, because I was making lots of money. I had a great thing going. I had an amazing company that I built. And I walked away from it all, which goes against everything that I was indoctrinated to believe my entire life. To talk to people like you guys and people that have no idea what's going on in this world and help wake them up, because I felt that I know that the world is going into literally the dark ages if we don't do something. We have the control. They need us to create their crap world for them. And they need us to believe in all of this stuff. If nobody believed in anything the government was telling us and trying to scare us with, governments would just shrivel up and die like dust. They'd be nothing. They would just disappear.
Let me ask you a question, David, because you said this in that video to those two guys. You're working with zero budget, right? When you did that film for them and you show them, you turn the world upside down. NASA, you quoted at 65 million a day. I think is what
it's
you said.
80 million now. 80 million a day.
Holy crap.
It's 80 million a day.
So if you had that kind of bankroll, you had that kind of benefactor.
If you give me $1 million for the year, I could totally blow away what NASA's doing. But I always go back and forth on that. Are they that stupid, or is it revelation of the method where they always have to tell us what they're doing? They can't deceive us too much, or they break our free will. And that's in the spiritual world. Go ahead, Angel.
Shall we do this here, Jonathan?
I don't know what you're doing.
Revelation of the masses, that they're required to say something.
Oh no, don't repeat that.
All right.
Now I want to know. I'm not going to say another word until you tell me.
All right, all right.
No, why would you do that? The
I'm,
frick's
I'm
wrong with
going on
people?
mute. I'm going on mute for the rest of the show until you
No,
tell me.
David, come on, please. Listen, the opinions expressed by Angel are not necessarily those of Jonathan. Usually, it's me that has to make the disclaimer for everybody else's. What the frick? You
All
I
right,
just mute. I muted Jonathan. Go ahead, Angel. Spill.
it has to do with logic. It has to do with logic. There's this. Well, here's the thing: the nature of truth. I mean, it's one of these things when you climb to the top of the mountain and you ask the sage there, what is the nature of truth, the qualities of truth? And it's real simple. It has to be empirically adequate, something that you can measure. It has to be logically consistent, something that oh, from here to there, there's no non-computing, and it has to be relevant to you. And some years ago, I heard this idea that was espoused that the powers that be are under this law. This is a powerful law that they must state ahead of time. This is what I'm doing, and I'm thinking, I know strategy. I read Art of War more than anyone I know, and you don't tell them ahead of time unless you're misleading them. So what is this law that beats strategy? It just
So,
isn't logically consistent.
well,
And it
I
turns
disagree.
out,
Go ahead.
okay. Tell me, no, before we get into, because I have the origin, but tell me.
So I believe that God created this world for us to have dominion over it, and they gave us free will. And no one is allowed to break that free will. So if they're going to do something, they have to tell us that we're doing it. And they tell us in a way, in a coded way, in a little hidden way, where they kind of are determining where that line is. Hey, I told you, I warned you, but in a hidden way. And then if we don't say no, that's consenting in their world of maritime law, whatever it is. If they offer you something and you don't say no, then that's consent. If they ask it 3 times and you don't say no, then you agree.
okay,
So
listen.
so they told us they were doing 9/11 for years, for a decade. They told us a million times. They told us that they're doing all these things, but we don't say no because we don't see it. So that to them is keeping them karmic free. They're afraid of karma more than anything
All right,
else.
I'm gonna tell you what Angel was alluding to, and I've never
I
shared
think
this on
whatever
here.
you say at this point, I think you're making it up just to cover yourself. But go ahead.
No, I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
It's a. You're such
Go
an
ahead.
asshole, no, David.
Yeah,
You're
that is
cool.
true. I've been told that.
Angel. That was a Freudian slip.
Actually, people tell me I'm number one all the time. They always show me that I'm number one. They always,
So,
but they always use their middle finger when they do it. It's kind of weird.
okay. So back in the early days of GLP, Godlike Productions, for those of you who don't know, conspiracy site. The original owners of it, Ken Stedman, and there was one other woman, I can't think of her name, Elaine, maybe. So they were the originators of that forum, and it grew really popular and all that. Supposedly, I remember we called it the massacre, the Christmas massacre that occurred, where it got changed hands of ownership, right, and possibly in conjunction with Tavistock and Elgin Air Force Base. These are the names that are thrown around as to who monitors it, to Honeypot, so on. So I was there since the inception, since the beginning. Back then, I was even doing like moderation for Jeff Rentz in his sightings room on AOL. What I'm leading up to is this: what you just said is true about the karmic repercussions and what they try to protect themselves from. And so I wrote this thread, and it kind of took on a life of its own. It went about 15 pages out, and then it got dissolved. And I can't even find it in the way back. They took a lot of my material out. I used to have a registered name, and I basically started a rumor, right, that said that the powers that be, the elite, have to tell you their plan. So just like in a court of law, you have disclosure, right? And then that way they can adhere to the rules of that courtroom, including you, by you saying, not doing anything, you're in agreement with them by not putting up a fight or anything like that. As long as they disclose it, they're covering themselves spiritually. And I put this out
I
there.
agree.
And I did it as a half joke, but half knowing what I knew from my past, with my own studies and circles I was in. And it took on a life of its own. So here it is, like when I started to hear this stuff being regurgitated, reiterated 10, 15 years later, I was like, no, it couldn't be. I'm thinking about how much choice material I probably put in that room that people have written books about and actually went and did the research or ran with. But every time I hear it now, I only told Angel this, what, a couple months ago? Angel?
Oh, yeah, it's been about 5 months.
Yeah, yeah. It's not something I disclose to anybody because nobody would believe you. Say, "Oh yeah, right, you came up with that."
Well,
But
I used to talked about this for a decade, and people would just laugh at it. Now they're like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. I
well, let me just say this: I put it out there in
uh,
2000. It was 2003 when I wrote this. I was working at Verizon. I had lots of free time on my hand. I used to just watch a switch, and the switch wouldn't do anything as we were going over to transport. But I had plenty of times to play all day and just sit. I had to sit at my desk basically and just be there in case an alarm went off. So I would write these fanciful things all day long on Godlike Productions and other forums. Go ahead.
no, I'm with you. I just I I'm convinced that's the way this world works. Some people have a hard time with it. It's right. It's also right up there with your thoughts create your reality. People are like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not true. I knew about vision boards for years and years and years. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, yeah, they might work. And then I finally wrote a vision board, and I said, I'm really going to test this thing out. And I put a whole bunch of
When?
things on it. This
How
was
long
well,
ago?
I did it long before I was a flat earther when I was in the printing business, and so I made a vision board, and I said, I want to be. I listed all these things that I wanted. I wanted like the perfect woman. I wanted, some material things, but I wanted, a lot of spiritual things. But one thing I wrote in there, and I remember laughing, was I want to be the CEO of my own company because I didn't even really know what a CEO did. But I was like, I'm going to really test the crap out of this thing, right? And I had it up in my room, and then I ended up being in my closet. And then 5 years later, I was sitting in my office in my own company, balancing the books for that month's sales, and I said, "Holy crap! I'm the CEO of my own company." I didn't even know it happened. It took about 5 years, and everything else on that board came true. Everything came true. Every single thing. And it's
Beautiful.
because your thoughts create your reality. Look at your life; it's your fault. Everything in your life is your fault. Well, that's not true. I had bad luck here, bad luck there. When you really go back and do an accounting of the way that you think and the way that you feel, well, that doesn't work. I want $1 million. When you say, I want $1 million, the energy you're putting out there is, I don't have $1 million. I'm never going to have $1 million. And I'm going to go paycheck to paycheck until I die of starvation. That's what you're actually saying. Right. So you don't want $1 million. Nobody wants $1 million. You want something else. You want freedom. You want comfort. You want, those are the things that you want. And those are the things that you have to focus on. And when you focus on those feelings, the old saying, don't put the cart in front of the horse. You got to put the completed feeling of having it before you even know what it is.
Bingo. Bingo, that
But
feeling. That's what I'm thinking about. Do you remember that original board? Do you remember any of the other smaller things on that vision board you did 5 years ago? So,
I wanted to have a job that I loved doing, that I didn't have to travel, I didn't have to go to an office, that helped me, that gave me freedom, gave me enough money where I could, do what I want to do within reason, and I'm there. I my life is great. I have a beautiful home. I have a beautiful partner, wife, whatever you want to label her. She's with me, and she we are literally, check us out. A little backstory on Paige. I met her at a Halloween party right towards the end of my divorce. A Halloween party that I went to every year in my town. A good friend has this huge Halloween party, and I met her at that party. And she lives in my little town. Never seen her before. Never heard of her. I think that she didn't exist before that party, and all of her memories of everything came from a freaking simulation. Okay, she did not exist, right? And it was crazy how we met and what on the things that happened and the synchronicities. And we used to keep this little. We had an online paper. I probably still have it on my Google Drive somewhere of all of the coincidences, the synchronicities that happened, and some of them are insane, literally
nope.
insane.
But
It's
David,
crazy.
I hate to do this to you, but how do you
But
know? How do you know she's not your handler? I mean, I did start rumors about Patricia Steer and Mark.
yeah, yeah. Because she's totally not.
those
She's
were
totally
so
not.
unfair.
Yeah, she's totally not because yeah,
Like John
it,
Nash,
it,
any geniuses, they have to assign these
yeah.
femme fatales that, like, you see these guys with no social grace went to MIT and they get these babes. Anyway,
No, you're looking in the
Some of
wrong
the
direction.
synchronicity.
It's the two cats.
Some,
The two cats are
and,
your handlers.
yeah. And I tell people they're like, aren't you afraid of so and so? You know what you should be afraid of? The only real statement made by a politician ever, which was FDR. It says the only thing to fear is fear itself. And that is the truth because you are your worst enemy. You are the reason that your life isn't turning out the way that you want it. It's your thoughts that literally magnetically attract the physical reality of manifestation into your life with the way that you think. And people go, oh, it's too hard. This is hard. I can't. I'll never. You start a sentence like that, it's absolute truth. You can't and you will never. Okay. Whatever follows that because you said it. You're using your words.
What followed your vision board from 5 years ago? There's a feeling you imbibed in your own life. You marked it down with the board, but from then on, you even forgot about the board. You said, what was the feelings that were supporting your vision that you live now?
I mean, I just think about positive things. Like these trolls make videos. Poor Patricia Steer, she just read all the negative comments and she just followed all of the bad people. Why follow the bad people? There's people making videos about me, saying things about me. I don't even know their names. I forget that they exist. I don't care. And guess what? Everyone has the right to do whatever they want. I'm going to this big debate in Tennessee this weekend, right? The big biblical debate. I don't know. You guys know about it?
No.
It's going to be quite a showdown. Oh my.
It's going to be a crazy showdown. So mega church pastor Greg Locke from the Global Vision Ministries in Tennessee in the Bible Belt. He has a big tent church with like 3,000 people going. He's got a huge online presence. He had a meltdown.
Fellow.
Yeah.
Very appealing fellow.
He had a meltdown over flat earth. Some of his parishioners, is that the right word?
No, you're talking about Patricia too much.
Yeah. Some of his congregation. I could say congregation better. And he's like, flat earth is stupid. Blah, 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 the Bible's not flat earth. And he had a meltdown. He ends up challenging Pastor Dean Odle, who's on Team Flat. And it's December 2nd in Nashville, Tennessee. So anyone that could go, there's people flying in from Oregon, California, driving from Florida, everywhere in Nashville, Tennessee. It's free. There's a big podcaster meeting at the hotel the night before. They're having a meet and greet. Then we're holding a Rico tinfoil sombrero, and I have set up the afternoon of the debate, and the debate starts at 6 p.m. So there's like 3 events in 2 days, and it's going to be crazy. But why was I telling that story? Why was I going down that road? What were we talking about just before that? Nobody remembers.
The feeling that you had to imbibe your vision board, and that you feel something. Now, how do we break to it? Oh, about
well, the feeling is your feelings lead your way. So I look at this world with gratitude, and I am grateful for everything. Like when it's raining and I have my skylights and I could feel the rain. I'm in this perfectly air temperature controlled room, and I'm dry. And I'm just like, this is amazing. Water is falling from the sky, the most precious substance on earth. And I'm dry in this house. And, and I just appreciate every single thing. And every morning when I wake up, before I get out of bed, I just have a little prayer of grateful and gratitude. And if you do that, that's where your life goes. But if you get up and go, I hate my job, my partner's this, people are assholes, that's your life. You're going to attract more and more of that into your life.
David, when are you leaving for Mexico?
Right after New Year's.
Oh, after New Year. Oh, so not until then?
Yeah.
But you're going down. You said you're going down for this thing December 2nd, and then you'll be back?
Yeah. That's just 2 days. I'm going down Friday, back on Sunday.
We got to meet up, man. There's some things I want to tell you off air, even if we just have a little, but I'd love to come up and meet you because I've been threatening forever. There's things I got to tell you that you just hit upon that 1,000%. And I kid around a lot, but the things that I'm serious about, I'm dead serious about. I mean, God bless you, man. You're right on point. You're right on point.
That's how I see the world. And I didn't used to see the world. The way of my life was okay. I had my slave job and I did my thing, and I was fitting in with everyone else that was miserable and pretended to be happy. I kind of was happy.
What made the change?
What made the change was seeing how the world is crazy and how people are asleep and not appreciating what this place truly is. And when you see what this place truly is and truly was, that's amazing. Flat Earth isn't the biggest thing in the world, but there's other things that happen on the flat Earth that are even more mind blowing. Once you get there, I say there's flat earthers, we have our differences. Some people think there's a dome. Some people think there's not. There's more land. There's not more land. That's okay. We can have those discussions all day long, but we know that we're on a level plane and we know that the world isn't what they tell us. And we all are never bored. When you wake up to the flat earth, the word boredom is gone out of your life, right? The word jealousy, I've also gotten rid of because there's another ounce of jealousy in anything. I used to look at people and go, oh, look at that guy. He's got the car. He's got the house. Look at him. He's making so much money. And I was jealous. And that just holds you back. If you're jealous of something, if you see somebody that has what you want, and it's just not, does not, it could be spiritual, family, whatever. Instead of being jealous, you should just be appreciative and really be happy for that person, because then that comes into your life.
Everything you're saying, I have that same gratitude in my heart. It escaped me my entire life. And
yeah,
not that I wasn't a good person fundamentally, right? I had morals and other things and I did good things for people. I just never had that inner peace. I don't know what it was. I kind of do, but the point is that now that I have that, exactly what you're saying, when I see people, it's not jealousy or sometimes envy, but in a good way. Like when you're envious of somebody who did something amazing, it's like, oh my God, I'd love to have a piece of that chocolate cake. Where'd you get that? And they tell you they went to France or something. That's wonderful. Right. But the thing is when I see people with children, with a new job, success, any of that, you know what I tell them? I was like, blessings to you and many more, because I think of the world that my son's coming into and the way the world is now. I want him to live in a beautiful world. And if other people aren't prospering and aren't blessed with all these things, then what kind of world is he going to come into? It's like by extension, I want him to be offered a job one day. I want him to be able to be with people that are of like mind, critical mind, care about this planet, true custodians of the earth. I hope to see it one day, but like you said,
Jonathan, that's why I walked away from everything that I worked towards. People like, all right, I'm going to go work for a corporation and I'm going to start in the mailroom. I'm going to work my way up. I'm going to be a manager. I'm going to be, whatever. I get all the way up to partner, whatever. I went into corporate America. I dominated every job that I took, every job that I had. I didn't jump around that much. I created those jobs. They didn't even have the job. And I said, here, I'm going to start here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to work for you. I'm going to work for free. And not until I make a sale will you pay me. And they're like, okay. And then I end up ruling the company, opening up new divisions. Then I walked away from, I literally opened up commercial solar in the solar company I was in. And they said it wouldn't work. And then me and another guy there, we're like, yes, it can. And we figured out a way to finance it. We put the whole thing together, opened up the whole division. It ended up being the most profitable part of the company. Company was bought out and they shut down the commercial division.
Wow.
And so it's like, okay, that's the worst day of your life. Oh my God, this is horrible. No, it wasn't. It's the best day of my life, because then we got together and we said, we're going to open up our own company, but we're going to make it better. We're going to do it. We're going to have less overhead, because overhead will kill you when you don't have a project going. You got guys twiddling their thumbs.
And there's no conflict of interest. They can't get you on that.
Yeah.
One.
And so, yeah, none. And so we opened up our own company and it became one of the biggest, best award-winning solar companies on the East Coast. And we were getting bigger and bigger. And then my truth seeking started to interfere a little bit. And my partner, he's like, Dave, you're never going to give this up. It's going to dominate you. I'm like, no, it's not. But he was actually right. I'm never going to give it up. He was absolutely 100% right. And it got to the point where some of the people that I was going after for being total scammers and involved in these false flags were like lawyers that were representing our clients and stuff. So it was crossing over, and I decided to walk away from it all. So I walked away from it all. Thank God my father had already passed away, because he'd be like, what the heck are you doing? I got to a point that many people dream of, having your own company, making your own rules, making your own time. And I walked away from it all, thinking that I would be just having enough money to pay my electric bill and buy just enough food. And because I'm so focused on this, hey, I am making money. People think that I'm making millions of dollars off my app. The more money that app makes, the more money it costs me. And the monthly figure is up to 5 figures a month just to keep the app running. So people are like, you got all those people on there and a lot of subscribers, you're making millions. No, I'm not.
Usually those are those are people that never owned a business. When you own your own business, I hate when people say, "Oh, you must love having the freedom of your own." You work twice as hard. You don't get sick days. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
million. You have overhead just on
But
yourself, not
but thank God for technology. You
right.
flat earthers, the technology, your technology guys. No, I got my phone, so I can actually do stuff like I can be out on my boat in the summer, and I could be working. I got my laptop. I can take it to Mexico, and I have my green screen. I can do my entire studio from a place in Mexico, which costs me less to stay there than it does to stay home. Okay, so it's like life just works out amazingly when you allow it. When you allow life to work out, people are their own worst enemy.
It's kind of an interesting point. When you add tools to you, it changes your identity. You now have the ability of freedom because you added those tools. But then
Right.
also, those tools give you the ability to see things you weren't able to see because your identity did change. I'm no longer caught up in what I used to do. I now
Right.
can step back and realize something new. And I think that's the key here. Like when you were doing the radio show with Tim,
Yep.
and you are already getting people and you're banning people for life. I love that phrase.
And
It
for
means
life.
I'm free forever from that kind of stuff from that person. That's
Right.
beautiful.
Mm.
And yet, who is Sophia Smallstorm that you would listen to her while you're at the same time not listening and banning to everyone else?
Well,
Why does she get
because I was working with her already, and she unwound 9/11 like nobody else had, and with her 9/11 mysteries, and she unwound that
respect her?
school in Connecticut that sounds like a beach, with an amazing amount of work, and we also worked on some stuff together, and so I trusted her. And when she said the Earth is flat, I think the Earth is flat. Watch these videos. Sent me Mark Sargent's clues, and back then I think there's like 2 or 3 clues out or 4 clues out. And then YouTube was like sending me this and referring, and then the algorithm worked the way it should work. It was giving me more and more stuff. And after a couple of weeks, I was like, okay, screw it. I spent $1,000, bought the P900. It had just come out, and the tripod went down to the beach, and I zoomed in on stuff that I shouldn't be able to see. And I used the logic on a physical ball. There's a physical horizon, and no amount of magnification will bring anything back that's beyond it. That's like believing that you can stand on the backside of your house. I can be on the front of your house and I could see you some magical way because your house doesn't have any height to it. Well, that height is the bulge of the earth. And it's not there. There is no bulge of the earth. And so, there's measurements that we've seen, just local with boats on the water and oil rigs and wind turbines where the earth would need a radius of over 200,000 miles when it's less than 4,000. What
I
they
just,
tell us.
I just want to add one more thing to what you were saying about happiness and all that and peace and all that. Um, it sounds like much like yourself. Like I know for me, I often tell people, my bucket list in life, my goals, what I thought were the pinnacle of what I could achieve. I filled those goals maybe one and a half times, let's say bucket list wise. And so when people make the argument, money doesn't buy happiness, well, guess what? Money absolutely does buy happiness in terms of less stress, better food, better quality of life and choices. But if you don't have that peace of heart in your heart already, if you don't have that peace, it's really going to be an amplifier of what you are. So if you're the type of person who's greedy and just wants more, 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 always has that FOMO complex and everything else, that's what you're going to love. You look at somebody like Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie, what's her name? She went and she already gave, I think, away like $14 billion on philanthropic causes. So again, the two don't make sense. Plus, people always misquote that whole happiness quote out of context. They only give you the first part of it.
Yep.
But you're spot on. And with that out of the way, you're able to be myopic or singularly focused and driven, more importantly, to pursue this without any extraneous or anybody, like you said, judgments or anything else. It doesn't factor in. It's just superfluous bullshit. It doesn't matter. It's, non sequitur, whatever you want to call it. It's just like, it's not in your way. You don't have that as an obstacle. And I think too many people, unfortunately, when they're just putting their toe into the flat earth realm, they still have all those attachments still on them, right? Their family, their friends, the companies they work for. Some people could actually get fired if they were to espouse these views in the wrong environment, or church or
You know,
whatever.
they used to say, in 2014, the trolls come out to you, oh, good luck getting a job. You're never going to get a job. You're a flat earther, right? But now with the friend finder, where people are meeting up, giving each other jobs, making best friends, making happy marriages, making babies. I mean, people, every dot I showed you on the friend finder, every person is your best friend because they have more in common with you than any dating site, any job site, any party, any setup, anything. Everyone on there has more in common with you. They're awake and aware. So if you want a place to find a new friend, a new significant other, a new group of people, there's nothing like the friend finder right now. So I'm kind of building that out. I just started the project today, more money out of my pocket, where we're going to make it available on PC and Mac. So you don't even need a smartphone anymore.
My.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. If you have a
That's
chat
costly.
feature and everything else, that's going to be brilliant.
Yeah. And the chat feature on there, I wanted a secure video call with my two developers in India just this morning. And I was like, I don't like doing Zoom and Skype. It's all monitored. I'm like, wait a minute, the video chat on my phone on the app, not FaceTime. The app has its own video feature. And so I created a little room. They entered the room. We went on. It was the clearest, crispest video chat I've ever had. It worked perfectly. I was like, this is working amazing. It's working amazing. If I can get the app to work that good, the other functions of the app, we have a couple little bugs we're trying to work out this week. But as soon as that's done and we get it on the PC, now it's, people that don't want to have smartphones, you don't need one now because now you can have it on your computer. And I think that's going to just make it even bigger. And so here's the thing. People don't believe it. Rain. People don't believe it. The money means nothing. People are like, how many subs do you have? The answer? I have no idea. I've never looked. I mean, I know how many people are on the friend finder because that's a public number that I put out there because that's kind of fun to watch. But I don't know how many of them are subs, how many of them have become subscribers. Because not that I don't care, it doesn't matter. What is looking and knowing at the number? That is worshiping the money. I'm not focused on the money. I'm focused on making it better and waking up people. What is a better way to wake up somebody with on the app? Well, it depends on the person. But like if you're talking to somebody, let's say you're at a bar, at having lunch on a bench somewhere, sitting on a bus, whatever, wherever you are, and you start talking about flat Earth, can you pull that book out, Eric DeBay's book, Frequently Asked Questions, which is a fantastic book? No, you don't have that on you. Right. And even if you did, you can show it to the person, but they can't. Can I rip out that page? No, you can't rip out that page. But on the app, they ask you a question, you can pull up the image, you can pull up the video, you can pull up all sorts of stuff, and then you can literally send it to them. Boom, send it. So now they have it. Now they're looking. They can download the app. Everyone has their phone in their pocket all the time with them. And so it is, luckily for me, it is the most effective way to wake people up. And I'm just making it better and better. You know what? Here's the thing. People call me like, where's that video? Where's that InfoWars video? You know what? The InfoWars video, the one that when I was in InfoWars, you know where it is? Because I don't know where it is. I was like, oh man, it's probably on this channel of mine. And I don't even remember what year it was, but now I added a video search. Just type in InfoWars, and there it comes. There's all the times InfoWars was on the app, and there's my video. Like could you find the Eddie Bravo videos? Just type in Eddie Bravo, and boom, it comes up. Like you were talking about that video where I showed the space station looking down, but it was really front yard spinning around. It was Cheeks, Joey and Cheeks. So just type in Cheeks, bam, there it is. There's the video. Hey, you did a thing with LT from And We Know. Just type in And We Know. There's the video. So now people have access to the videos that YouTube's hiding them. It's amazing how well it works. So when someone asks you a question, pull up the video, send it to them. How quick, how easy is that? And so here's my plan for the app. Every person on earth has to have it. Okay. Every person on earth. Right. At that point, yes, I will be an evil billionaire. Right. And I will turn my backs on all of you, and I will have my own island. And I might even start inviting children there because that's what billionaires do, I think.
George Orwell's rolling in his grave.
Back that out. Here's the thing. When my
for a limited time, when you get David's app, you get a 44-inch flat screen panel TV to worship every morning.
Here's the thing. When my app reaches the point where I think it's going, money will be worthless. So all of the money will be worthless because everything will crash. Governments will fall. The money system will crash. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the day that I don't have a penny.
All right, let me ask you a question then, because I've always maintained that the revelation of the flat Earth would actually be the cosmology. It would reveal the cosmology of this place and destroy governments and all systems of control. Yes or no?
100%.
I mean, people casually say, like my father, and I get his point. He's 77, 78 years old. I don't know how. He's old. What difference does it make? For him, I understand it. For somebody younger who has a life ahead of
No,
them, I
he's
mean,
wrong. He's wrong. If you're 90, when I told Ruth the earth was flat, a
right.
102-year-old woman, she cried. She broke down. Her heart opened up. She's like, oh my God, it changes your life. Like, you think you're a speck, from Ponscom,
No,
here
I'm
in
talking about my dad. I'm not talking
it
about
doesn't
normal
matter.
people. Not
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The people that think it doesn't matter, they're farther gone than other
yeah.
people. It matters to every single person. They just don't
I've made
know
that
it.
argument with him though, and he just don't want. He goes, well, whatever. He goes, believe it you want,
Yeah,
and
because
I get it.
people
The
are,
guy went to Nam and he worked and he's retired. And in his mind, it's
and when you tell them
Meshuggah,
that
you know, he's kind of.
Nam was a bankers' war set off by a false flag, that is that's not going to go.
I know, I
Not
get
going to go. It's not going to go over very well. It was the Gulf of Tonkin incident, fake, false flag, declassified, that started that war. So he went and fought a fake war. Now,
I know.
he had good intentions. He had the spirit. He was doing everything for the right reason. But unfortunately, he was lied to and was fighting a fake war.
And you know what I found out
Yeah.
too later on? He had read tons of conspiracy books in the 60s. And I'm like, if you know all this stuff, why do you give me so much shit since I was a kid? He goes, well, I didn't want to see you go down a certain, didn't call it a rabbit hole or whatever, but he knows, like, he's aware of these things. He chooses not to look at it. Maybe because he gets emotional. He doesn't, because he can't do anything about it. He has no control over it. But let me ask you this. So tomorrow, big headline. It's not going to be Biden delivering the news. The World Council, the UN, whoever the hell, comes out and says, look, here's the truth. Okay. They give us the truth. And part of that truth is the earth is flat. Okay. What happens next? What do you think that first change and shift in society is? They call you up and say, David, we were wrong. Let me get your app. Like, how does this work? What happens?
I don't think that the governments will ever come out and say that. We're just going to have to do it and leave them behind. We're going to have to do what I'm doing. We don't need to destroy the government. Let them do their little thing. The only reason governments have power is because we allow them. The only thing money has value is because we give it value.
Okay, maybe
right?
I phrased it. Wait, maybe I phrased it wrong. Tell me about the societal shift on day one, day zero.
Day one. So this video goes viral. Elon Musk tweets this video and goes, "You got to see this." Right? He did that with What Is a Woman? 100. I think it was 175 million views in like 2 days or something. Okay. So 175 million people watch this, right? And then they're like, "Holy crap, the Earth is flat." And then they go to my channel, and they so now I got 175 million people that downloaded the app.
Now, has YouTube shut down everything at this point? Are they trying to?
They're going to try to. They're going to try to, but everything I have is backed up on every other network.
Protection team of Wall Street.
It's on the blockchain. It's everywhere. So when YouTube shuts it down, then that's going to just wake up even more people. It's going to wake up more people when they try to hide something. But when YouTube if
this
YouTube,
is going to happen. We know this, but yeah.
Removes all of the flat Earth videos within 24 hours. The app will be back up and running with every single video in the playlist already, because I've already have them backed up on multiple platforms and blockchain platforms. So when I upload a video, it automatically gets mirrored onto the blockchain instantly. So I upload to YouTube, bam, it scrapes it right off of YouTube. All the metadata, everything is there. So I just have to link it into the app, which would take me a day. And then we're back in business. So, and I'm also, the app is going to go open source. So it'll be on F-Droid, Google phones. It'll be everywhere. It'll be on computers. It'll be everywhere. And so if something happens with the App Store and Google Play, doesn't matter. It won't matter. Won't matter. So, the cat is out of the bag. They can't stop it. They can flip the world upside down, or they can try to. So here's the thing. I don't know if they can destroy the world without our permission. So they need us to pound the war drums. Like, did you pound the 9/11 war drums when it happened? I did. I was like, we need to go get those efforts.
Actually, I got kicked off the air. I tried calling into a radio station. It was when we went to war in February of 2003, when we first went in that February. I was on a business trip. My son was being born later that year. So I tried calling into this radio station. I was down in Florida, and in Jacksonville, and there were all these white trash hicks calling in. Yeah, let's turn it into a parking lot. Let's do this, do that. I call in with the voice of reason because I'm listening to WBAI, Democracy Now, and all this other shit. I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah.
was I thought it was a scam day one. I literally looked across the room. I was at Verizon, and this guy turns around and looks at me, and he mouths the words FEMA, and I'm like, I don't know, right? But we knew something was up. And let me tell you something. These two guys were like shock jocks. Every caller called in. That boy sounds like he's from the north. He goes, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's not a white blooded, he's not a red blooded American. He's not a patriot. They were chewing me out and cutting me down because I dared to say that Baghdad was a rich region and Saddam Hussein and all these other guys were puppets and Osama bin Laden. Like, don't buy it. They cut me off so quick and made fun of me like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
I
It
wish I
was,
had rah-rah with everybody else just to fit in.
well, I've been screaming about chemtrails for decades, and now they admit it. There's 100 patents, that they're doing it. They admit it, and nobody cares. They. So looking at that, they can normalize stuff. So when it happens, people don't care. I think America is dumbed down enough that eventually, this flat earth stuff gets out. More and more people hearing more and more about it. And then they're like, oh, yeah, the earth is flat, but, hey, we're at war and we're running out of food and we need to worry about that stuff. So they may think that they can try to slip it out and change the books and like, hey, it's flat, but this is all that there is. And, they can try to convince us of that. But I don't think it's going to work. I think they're going to lose, And if you look biblically, it says that they lose. But it's up to us. It
Let me
really
just
is
say
up to
something to
us.
that point too. Like I said, you and I have a lot more in common than I ever realized. And hearing you now, I still have stuff that's out there. If you look up in 02, 03, if you put John, I don't go by Jonathan back then, John Macedo Jr., the word rents for Jeff Rents, and then put the word chemtrails, you'll see so many articles I had in the earlier parts of 2000 with photos from Disney, from New York and everything. It was so bad this one time that NASA, because it went out over the radio, I was on a show called Mysteries of the Mind with Alex Merklinger, and then I was on Jeff Rents after that. That NASA had pixelated that part of Florida over Orlando that showed the grid, that waffle like pattern of the
Yep.
chemtrails that I was talking about on that date. And I showed the photos. My wife were down there, we were on our like second honeymoon. And it's like, wow, like, but back then everybody kept saying it was just me and Clifford E. Carnicom and a few people like yourself, that knew this phenomenon was like there's something up here, but nobody was talking about it. And it wasn't until I think Dennis Kucinich hit the floor and actually used the actual name chemtrails in a speech that he gave. And of course, they made fun of him too, but whatever. It's like
Yep.
I want to talk to
Cliff
you off air, man.
Carnican.
There's a lot we have in common.
Okay.
No, I'm not just I'm not just this badass who comes on to make disruption on shows. I try to just bring people out of look. I set the bar low. I said this on Ironworks last week. I said, some people set the bar high like Tony Robbins, and you can achieve. That's you. I'm the other guy. I set the bar way low. So people say, "Oh my God, I hate to be that guy." See, I make you feel good about yourself. You don't want to be like Jonathan. Just take a step higher. Be like David Weiss. Take the high
Oh,
road.
yeah. So
Anyway, no, I'm happy you came on tonight because you really opened my eyes to some new things, some new perspectives on this. All of them are
all
flat,
right.
but hey,
It's amazing. Just throwing it out there, just anyone that it doesn't know that Jaron and Austin are having another summit, a virtual summit. So if you couldn't make it to Flattoberfest, we're having literally a virtual summit online. Watch it from the comfort of your home, December 8th and 9th, a week from Friday and Saturday. And there's amazing speakers. Just go to my website, flatearthdave.com. Just scroll down a little bit. You'll see a giant banner. Click it. Look at all the speakers. Look at all the stuff going on. Support your favorite speaker by you buy a ticket and then you select who you want, which presenter you want to support. And on a good, I think half of your ticket price goes to them to support them. So these guys figured out a way to support presenters because we're out here doing speeches, doing stuff all the time, and we don't get paid for it. So pick my name because then that it doesn't matter. Pick whoever you want. Doesn't matter who you pick. But it's a blast, and we have a question and answer. I'm on the question and answer panel. We got Amanda Vollmer on there. If you want to learn about some health stuff, she's going to blow your mind more than flat Earth. And David Avocado Wolf, and awesome stuff. And it's just fun. Be in the chat, and if you're in the VIP, you're on the Zoom, and you could participate in the live questions. It's really well done. And then there's some excellent comedy by Ian Cunningham. For those of you who don't know who he is, if you looked at the Tyler Oliveira video, the tall redhead guy that confronted Tyler, that's Ian.
Oh yeah,
That's Ian,
that's it.
right? And Ian is he's gonna bring the house down laughing, so it's gonna be good. That they close with comedy.
No, by the way, real quick,
Because
Angel, and then I just want to say we have a half hour left. I don't know if you can still stay with us or if you have to go or whatever. I know we scheduled for an hour or, originally, but do you want to stay for an extra 25 minutes or so? Can you, or do you have to go, David?
me,
Yeah.
I'm good. I thought we were going for 2 hours.
Yeah. No, that, all right. Perfect. All right. Then I'm out of the
Cool.
mix. Angel.
I got nothing left to say though. I think I said everything.
Oh, I got a few more things.
Okay,
I was,
here we go.
there's something that came to mind because you're bringing out this July 8th, and that's the day when you have more than half of the Earth in sunlight.
70%,
I'm sorry, what 70%? Did I hear 70?
70% of the globe is the alleged globe in sunlight. Yes.
All right. Many of us got exposed to this Mayan calendar and started learning about lunar calendars. And the ancient Egyptian lunar calendar and the Mayan calendar both have a New Year's Day on July 25th. Now, what's interesting to me like this is that July 8th is that lineup with the sun, where the sun hits the earth in just a way that it gets the best lighting. What happens on July 25th is that the dog star Sirius rises with the sun at sunrise, parallel right over Los Angeles. If you go to the northern latitudes, it's not parallel. If you go to the southern latitudes, those are not parallel. But there's a connection there somehow. And I can't quite figure out 17 days between that perfect day when the light is 70% and then the New Year's for the lunar calendar when the dog star rises with the sun. There's got to be a connection of alignment.
The
And
astrology of the sky. Yeah, go ahead, finish that. So you're done.
Well, rather than getting, because there's a connection there, I'm sure, but something probably more to home. Say the pharaohs. Cleopatra was the last pharaoh and had 3 kids: Little Caesar, and Helios, and Selene. Now, the eclipse, that weird eclipse, is called a Selenian.
Seleninian.
Seleninian. It is essentially the name of Cleopatra's daughter and lion together. It is the moon lion eclipse. There's something there that they knew about the structure of what makes that happen.
You got to ask Santos Bonacci. He knows.
Well, there we go. We'll go ask him.
Yeah. Santos brought up something the other day. Who was he talking to? He had on Eddie Bravo. Was it Eddie Bravo? Yeah, yeah. And Eddie brought up stars are souls. I think stars are angels, if for lack of a better word, that are perfect. That's why they never move out of their position. And our souls, there's billions and billions of stars, and there's billions and billions of people, whatever number that is. And that's where our soul resides when it's not here in our avatar meat suit. And Santos goes, yes, that's why the stars are our ancestors. And then when your soul leaves there, it comes here and you're a youngster. And then you grow up and you're a mister. And then some of those people lose their way and they become gangsters and they become, he had like 50 different things. I was like, holy crap, everything is star, a movie star. Everything is star. And then what does Neil deGrasse Tyson tell us? And Carl Sagan, we're stardust. We come from the stars. Revelation of the method. We come from the stars. Crazy. Go watch on Rockfin. Go to it just recently out. Eddie, no, it's not Rockfin. It's on Santos's channel. I think it's on I think it's on Rockfin on Eddie Bravo's channel, the Santos interview. It's right near the beginning. It blew my mind. It's very cool. You're quiet, Jonathan. You're muted. You're muted if you're going to talk.
I know I'm muted. I'm waiting for Angel
Yeah.
to say something.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's something in the language that we have built in, and it's language changes over time, but there's an imprint.
Right.
Every generation wants to feel that what I'm feeling is more strong than what my parents felt, and they have to come up with a new language to express these new-ish feelings.
Yeah. It also talked about you become a minister and a pastor, and literally he just kept rolling these things off. And knowing the power of the English language, it rang a bell with me. I was just like that just rings a bell, and I think that's how this place works. I think that we're our souls are eternal, we're angelic, and that we take time here to expand the mind of God and share it with others. The highest purpose of life is to seek ultimate knowledge and share it with others. It's that simple. It's very this world is very, very, very simple. And they just conflate it and confuse it with law, and fake rules, and government thinks that they're in charge of us. Who the hell gave them permission to be in charge of us? They're not in charge of us. So this world is not what you think it is. That's the opening of every John Thor video. If you guys follow John Thor, great channel on YouTube, John Thor.
Don't know it.
It's a great one. He does these compilations of videos, puts them together in a way like no one else does, and everyone starts a little song that says, "This world is not what you think it is," and then it goes into the video and it sets up the music. Does a great job. Great job. These videos are like 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes long. And they're fantastic. I feature them all the time on the app. Just keep an eye on the app. Go on the app and type in John Thor. You'll find a lot of videos. Or just go to his channel on YouTube. Don't even need the app.
It'll be interesting to have a list of what people recommend. Because people are using the app and they're finding new things, especially with the new search feature.
Yeah, it's amazing. It blows me away that what the app does. And if it was your app, I'd be promoting it just as much because it's a great tool.
I actually have to reinstall it on my new phone that I got recently, so I apologize.
I'll allow it.
Well, now then you can put your own a referral number once you reinstall it there.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
Customize it. Can you customize it with words and letters?
Yeah, you just go into the referral section. So you go into the friend finder. There's 3 buttons on the upper left. Hit the middle one that takes you to the referral section. You get this random number. There's a little pencil next to it. Click it. You can type up to 7 characters. You can put, I don't know, John might not be taken yet. Put whatever you want. You can put, JFJ, John from Jersey. Whatever you want. Just something that you can remember. And like some woman texted me today. She's like, hey, I got your app, but all these things are locked on it, all the things that cost money to use, and I just can't afford the subscription. And she told me her whole story, and so I gave her a free subscription for a few months, and I told her about the referral code. I said, when you talk to people, just show them the app. Anyone that's interested in flat Earth, and you show them the app, everyone says, I got to get that. Where do I get that? Just give them your referral code. And by the time your subscription is over, you'll have 11 points and you can trade it in for a year subscription. So you don't even have to worry about the stupid $11. Yeah, 11 points. And then you could just subscribe. It says use points to subscribe and you can subscribe for a year. It's only $11. Here's the thing though. You're on the leaderboard. There's a leaderboard, top 100 referrals. Some of the people on the leaderboard, they don't want to give up their 11 points because when you spend them, they come off the leaderboard. So they'd rather just pay for the subscription. But here's the thing: people like, I'm not spending $11 on an app. But then you're out at a bar, they're like, who wants a shot of tequila? Okay, 11 shots of tequila. That'll be $140. They don't blink an eye at that ridiculousness. But they don't want to spend $11 on something that's going to literally connect them with others and feed them information and help other people wake up. And as I said, I just said on And We Know, I said, whether you believe in the creator or not, when you die, you're going to have to answer to the creator. And you're going to be at the pearly gates and they're going to be looking at Jonathan from Jersey. Let me look at your list here. You've got some sins on here, Jonathan. This isn't good. Jonathan, you've done some stuff and it's not good. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. You have 87 referrals. You woke up 87 people to God's creation. I think that's going to wipe off a lot of these sins. Welcome, Jonathan. You're in. Prove me wrong.
Wow, the Flat Earth app is giving out penances.
It's helping.
Like
no, listen, if you're really, really bad, like if you murdered somebody, you'd probably have to have 100,000 referrals to get rid of that.
I was going to say, yeah, there's a venial sin and there's a cardinal sin and there's
yeah. But if you've done some little things, a few referrals will get rid of it because you're like, hey, I did that. I dissed this person, but I woke up these people out of depression because people are depressed because their soul is trying to talk to their friggin' brain that's stuck in the TV and lost in the normie world. And when you wake up to Flat Earth, you come out of normie world and you can now hear your soul talking. And that is bringing you closer to the creator, right? To me, you just did a really good thing. You blessed somebody with knowledge and helping them reach their full God-given potential. So till somebody proves me wrong, I think those points help you get into heaven. So
I knew it. I knew it. The Flat Earth is a cult and David is its leader.
I am whatever you want. Now I'm kidding, not kidding. I'm about that, but it is nice to wake people up. Listen, when you're a flat earther, Jonathan, if you're in a car with a normie and let's say in your car for a 5-hour drive, what are you going to do? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the weather? You want to talk about the Jets, the New York Jets? What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the war? Maybe you talk about the war a little bit and how stupid it is. No, you want to wake their asses up. So you want to flat smack the crap out of them. And, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
I'm trying to frame that scenario. Oh my God, it's such a painful ride. 5 hours. It's like going to Vermont. You want to enjoy
5 hours with a normie.
Jesus.
I've mentioned this. I've been talking to a lot of big commercial airline pilots and that are fully flat. And they're like, when we're on a long flight, we just have to take off and land and adjust a couple knobs. So we're locked in this room for 5 hours, flying across the country, 6 hours, whatever. And if my co-pilot is a normie, he goes, I got 6 hours to flat smack them before we land. He's a flat earther, right? And so these pilots are waking up other pilots. I'm predicting in a year that there'll be no commercial pilots that don't know the Earth is flat. These guys are flat smacking the crap out of all of the normie pilots, and it's not that hard with all of the information that's out there now to wake them up.
There's a good question.
Are they using your app while they're
no,
sitting and they're locked in the car?
They can't. Unfortunately, unless they can connect it to Wi-Fi, which maybe they can, it doesn't. Unfortunately, it's an online app, so until I'm able to cache stuff on the app, but that takes up a ton of memory. So yeah, the app, you need to be connected to the internet in some way.
Let me ask you this: what advantage does an airplane pilot with all that experience and altitude, being able to go to that altitude, have over someone who's a landlubber on flat Earth?
Well, I mean, they could talk about, look at the horizon. Look, we're not nosing down. At this speed, we should have to nose down a half a mile every 2 minutes or a mile every 2 minutes, whatever it is. And they can talk about gyros. They can talk about all sorts of stuff. And they could see, you're doing a northern flight, a far north flight, and you can see how the sun is circling around and doesn't set. Like from California, like from Seattle to where were they going? To Germany or whatever. They watched the sun just go around. It never set. It just went around. It was on one side of the plane, and then went to the other.
There was one particular day when I was flying from Newark International to Bern in the Swiss border in France, and the sun kind of dipped down. What they said was it the Tropic of Cancer? Is that the one that's further north?
Yeah.
See the Cancer cap, yeah. And it was so wild because I'm looking out the window and I watched this thing dip down. And just as it was going to go below the horizon, it comes back up, and I was like, "Wow, that was weird." Like I never seen anything like it. It was just the trajectory or whatever on the flat.
Yeah, because you were cutting across the inside of the circle, getting closer to the sun again. So go down. It goes up and down due to perspective, Remember, we're looking under the bridge before. We could see the lights down the road. That or the sun. The sun looks like it's below the bridge, but you know it's above the bridge. It's just how we see. And
Well, you know what it reminded me of? You know that thing where they show a ballerina, and if you look at it at the first instance, it looks like she's going clockwise. It's a silhouette. And then you look at it again, if you look at a certain body part, it goes the opposite way, right before your eyes. And you're like, and you start to doubt yourself. And it's like the same thing with those inverted, like the 3D dragon, things like that. That's what I felt with the sun at that exact instant. I remember thinking, is it going around like this and not over and up and over like this? It was that kind of inversion. You know what I'm saying? I saw it in real time.
I mean, there's so many things. I just featured a video on the app yesterday of the sun, and they did reverse. They reversed the colors as it's going through the clouds, and it's cutting through the clouds. And the comments are going wild. People are like, "Oh, some clouds are thinner than the others, and then you can see through, and some are denser, and that's why it looks like it's going through." That sun is going through the clouds from that person's point of view. Now, if you were in an airplane where in those clouds, you would see the sun somewhere else. You would see it farther away. Have you ever seen an airplane appear to hit the sun? I've seen it twice now where I'm filming the sun and there comes an airplane and it literally goes into the sun. Now, okay, it's because the airplane's small and the sun is so bright, I just can't see it because it's too bright. And I was like, okay, I get that. But then when it comes out the other side, it like pulls a plume of the sun out with it. And then I'm waiting it off. I'm like, no, that's the exhaust refracting the sun. I'm making up excuses. I literally saw a friggin' airplane go through the sun that I saw. But if I was on that airplane, it would see the sun at the same distance away that I saw the sun. It's not in that point. The sun is relative to everyone's point of view, like a rainbow. Someone said the other day that the sun is a compressed rainbow. Interesting. I don't know how that works, but the sun, I think, is a non-physical object, just like a rainbow, where you can't get to it. It moves.
By compressed rainbow, I think they mean like whether it's on the other side of the firmament or anywhere, where that light is concentrated, if you will. Like that point where it breaks through the prism, and then it creates the rainbow on the other end of it. So where we see the light coming in, and what we call the sun could be coming from another source that we're not seeing.
I'm not convinced that it's not coming from the center of the Earth, from the North Pole. That it's the black sun projecting up. I don't know, but my best guess right now is that the source of the sun is within or above the firmament, and that it is reflecting in through the firmament and to a focus point of light based on our position. Right.
You
can have. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, who I wish we had at this exact moment as a fourth guest? Lord Stephen Christ.
Oh boy. You know what? That reminded me of something I want to say. All of these anti-flat earthers and Lord Stephen Christ and these guys, they all have like these criminal records, or most of them have like a horrible criminal record where like Fight the Fat Shirt, who debated Caleb the other night on Jaren's channel. He brutally beat a woman up, and I think he was going to go to jail. Then all of a sudden they just closed the file, and he shows up on the anti-flat Earth forum. Then you got Bob, the science guy, right? He was a psychiatrist who was prescribing Demerol and Percodans and opiates to women for BJs, and he got caught. He was going to jail, and they closed the file and let him off. And then he shows up as an anti-flat earther.
Well, wait, time. You didn't see like when Mark and I were doing Strange World, there was a thing we did on Lord Stephen Christ, because he asked me, he goes, "How come you're talking to this guy all the time?" I said, for whatever reason, I started analyzing him, and I figured out where he lived. It looked like a safe house. It was a beautiful friggin' house out near Scottsdale, Arizona. And then he had this other place that was remote. I don't know if it was Myrtle Beach or Hilton Head or where it was. And all him and his friends were hanging out, and they had a drone and all that. But there was one incident where he was arrested. And, when the sheriffs line everybody up in orange jumpsuits and they're going to transport him, he was the only one that was still in plain clothes and not in handcuffs. And Mark pointed this out, and he says, "What is it with this guy?" And I said, "Good point." And then, like you said, he arrives on the scene. Where does he go first? He doesn't go to Taco Bell for a taco. No, he goes to the anti-flat earth whatever.
Jonathan, what if you got caught with a trunk load of cocaine or whatever, and they're like, "Well, you're going to lose your house. Your kids are going to go, be taken away. Your wife is accessory. She's going to jail. You're going to go for the rest of your life. It's over." Or we're going to take your mathematical intelligence and you're going to just focus on proving the globe. Whether you believe it or not, that's what you're going to do.
Oh,
And if you
wow.
ever tell anybody about this, you agree that you go to jail for the rest of your life.
I'll
And
tell you.
we'll be listening. We'll be listening. You're going to do it.
I'll tell you what I told Sean, the Navy missile guy. You ready? Don't take it personal, David. I would sell you out quicker than Judas sold out Jesus for half the silver. Because you're not Jesus Christ.
You know, there's
Hey, listen, Superman wouldn't be Superman without Lex Luthor. You want to go there? Come on, David. No, I'm on your side, pal.
Again, you know, if you, I don't. I mean, this world is the most amazing place, and this time is the most amazing time to be alive, and I'm grateful every day for it. So,
but you bring up a great point because that does happen quite often. People don't think things like they think it's just in the movies. You know, when somebody turns
no,
out
it happened.
evidence.
I think that happened with most of the science. I think they were lots of them were in trouble with the law, and they got this deal like, hey, you're going to do this, you're going to be Christ actor, you're going to move from here to there, you're going to do this thing, and they all agree to it because one, they don't go to jail. Two, they get some nice perks, and
you should have heard my last guest, and Angel won't let me put the show up on our station. I think so it'll get flagged and knocked off YouTube.
Of course it will. It's YouTube.
David brought it up, but everything you're saying, you would have loved the conversation we had with this guy because he.
I did. I'm sorry, I said the full name. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. He worked on a He worked on a documentary called "What Happened? What Really Happened." That's at that beach that I live near.
Yeah. It's amazing. My sister lives in the town. Used to live in the town right next door. Therefore, it's real, and could never have a discussion about it.
Oh, up there, not the one near me, near Atlantic Highlands or Rumson, New Jersey.
No.
Near Newcastle.
My sister lived in Monroe, which is right next to.
Oh, okay.
Right next to it. So, you know, I tried to bring up the topic. She's like, "No, I got a letter in my door about something." You know, and I'm like, "So, what the hell does that mean?" You know, but hey, again, there's people that aren't ready for the conversation. I never force it upon anybody, and you know, and anybody that and any of these things, like if you want to find the information that used to be on YouTube, it's all at stoplookthink.com. Just go there, type in your favorite conspiracy.
Oh yeah,
and look it up. Yeah, stoplookthink.com. Everything's there. From 9/11, all of the documentaries on 9/11, all the documentaries on all the documentaries on and everything, all of them. From the jet fuel to everything. Wow. It's all there.
That's like
not everything, but it's pretty comprehensive. Stoplookthink.com. Look, think.
That's like the eat, pray, love of the conspiracy world.
Certainly is. It certainly is.
Stopdropandroll.com. No, what is it? One more time. Stop,
look, think.
Okay.
.com.
I just bookmarked it. That's really cool. Now I can't wait to go through this. Wow.
Yeah. And like on the 9/11 stuff, there's all of the good stuff is there. You know, which one's the best? Depends on what you're looking for. Here's what I say to people. Turn off Netflix forever and just start watching these videos. Watch one each night and just be like, you'll become more educated than
wait. Here's
aren't educated at all.
Here's a point of fact on 9/11 that nobody ever talks about. You ready? You're pretty versed? You're pretty good with 9/11?
I know exactly what you're going to say, but I don't know what it is yet. Tell me first.
Well, there's two of them, right? People forget about the first guy who was an obvious plant, the Harley Davidson guy with the black Secret Service guy behind him with the sunglasses.
Yeah.
That was so. The way it came out of his mouth. I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson couldn't have done better, right? It was so. The other thing is John O'Neill. I saw
the whole thing from just 5 blocks away. The first plane crashed in and went through the building due to then the fires collapsed due to the multiple.
Right, you sound just like
I forget the exact quote. I mean, if I think about it for a second, it'll come up. Yeah.
And the other one is John O'Neill, former FBI, who had a ton of evidence on Hillary Clinton. His first day at work was September 11th, and where did they assign him? World Trade Center number 7, where he perished, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now that also had the bunker where Giuliani should have went in the case of
that was in Building 7.
Building 7, but no.
Someone gave him a phone call that morning.
Right?
Yeah. How about this? People talk about Building 7. The real smoking gun is Building 6. Nobody's talking about Building 6. Go to my channel, DITRH, or you can go on YouTube and just search "Forget Building 7, Building 6, the smoking gun." Short video. And then when you see that, your brain isn't going to know how to process it because it doesn't make any sense in your world, but no one's talking about it. Building 6 was a 10-story full city block building, and the 80% of the inside of the building, all the way down to the basement, disappeared.
Oh my.
Disappeared. And there was these cylindrical holes that you can see, these giant, like, cylindrical holes from the top down, that where some of the insides where that you can see that these cylindrical holes came in. What is it? I don't know what it is. But if you look into the particle collider that's out in Long Island and the one in Pennsylvania, and both of them point directly at the trade towers, is that a coincidence? What happened to Jonathan? Jonathan turned off his camera and muted himself.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, that'll teach him.
Yep. Angel, any more questions? We got a couple minutes left.
That coffee table book, that was
Yes.
quite a something to put together. I mean, first of all, finding the app and then recreating all those images.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on it, and then I had it printed. I wanted to do a full production run of it, but I just didn't have the capital to do it, and so I just had it printed the way it should be printed on a sewn back, perfect bound book with high quality paper, and it was too expensive to sell. The book is like $125. Sometimes there was a sale. It is the proper price. But I never really put it up for sale, but I showed it and everyone's like, I want it. And I'm like, it's $125. And they're like, I'll take it. And I ended up selling a couple hundred of them. But I had to put each order through myself and upload it because they wouldn't even let you do, it was through Apple Books at the time. But you're right. It is a great book. And people put it in doctors' offices, on their coffee table. An inn owner in Hawaii has 2 of them in their lounge area, and people just pick it up and flip through it because, again, it's the lazy man's way to learn about flat Earth. Very little reading, just big pictures and memes.
What book is this?
Because
what book is this?
It's my coffee table book on the flat Earth, where it's just 100 some odd pages of memes, but it's an oversized book. It's 18 by 11, I think. Or is that what 13 by 11?
Nice.
And super high quality, thick paper, sewn back book with a paper cover with a printed, hardcover, and it just came out amazing, and people love it. So again, but it's so expensive. I didn't put it for sale because it's too hard.
When was the last time you bought a coffee table book? I'm going to tell you, it is going to just be priced slightly under $150.
Well, hold on. You can get a much nicer book than the one I printed on nicer paper with a embossed, glazed over cover, super color, high res, twice as thick, amazing, at Costco about dinosaurs for $19.
Oh, right.
There's no frigging way that they can produce, ship, and sell it to Costco where they can sell it for $19 and make a profit, but they want you to have it and treasure it and never lose it. This is literally like what I was in there. I was watching people buy, like, oh, this is a great Christmas gift. This is going to be great, right? They're going to give it to their little grandson or whatever, and that kid's just going to get lost in that book, and it's just they're helping perpetuate the lie.
So wait, are you telling us that some of our black budget actually goes towards the propaganda matrix, the Ministry of Propaganda?
No, I would never say that. I think our time's up. Is the show over?
Pretty much. I'm done. I got no more questions or anything. Probably got like 2 minutes left.
What was the app you were using, and would you do it again?
What's that? What was I using? Where?
The app to make the coffee table book. What was that?
Oh, it was just if you go if you have a Mac, you just go to their photos and create book, and then it gives you all the options right there. You drop and you lay it out. They make it super easy. It took a lot of time though to get the high quality pictures, and then I just kept adding more and more and more. It was over like 110 pages, and then I printed it. First time it was like $140 or something, and it came out great, and everybody loves it. But again, it's a big coffee table book. So if anybody, I don't want to. It takes time. each time I order it, so I don't want to do it. If anyone wants it, it's $175 because you got to pay me, $30 for my time.
I just want to come to your house and have coffee with you, and then I can read it in your living room.
I don't know if I can reveal my location to you, Jonathan.
Oh wow. Wow. All right. Let's see how it is.
We can go to local pub.
We could do that.
All right.
But
All
listen,
right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good talking to you. Good hearing from you, Angel.
It's good to hear from you.
Thank you so much, David.
Jonathan?
And yes, I will give you a copy of this, or unless you're recording it as well. I'm gonna put
I forgot to record, so
channel.
send me a copy. Yeah, put it on YouTube and just send me the link.
I will indeed. And thank you so much. I think a lot was said here tonight, and it was more than entertaining. It was educational. So,
all right, cool. Put it up and then send me the link. But I'll wait to see if you get a strike for anything we said. If you don't, I'll mirror it.
All right, you got it.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace.
See ya. Bye bye.